What's up guys, Arash Rahbar here, and today I'm going to show you how to make protein ice cream without becoming a fat ass. So, what you first need is some protein, obviously. You want some good protein powder that tastes good. When you're making desserts with protein powder, the powder will make or break it. If it doesn't taste good, if it's not a good protein powder, whatever you make is not going to taste good. So, find one that you like and that tastes good to you, and you start with that as the base. Now, you can use water or you can use unsweetened almond milk that I have here. Unsweetened, obviously, we cut out the sugar. And if you look at the nutritional facts, for 1 cup, which we won't even be using, you have 2.5 grams of fat and only 1 gram of carbs. So it's not devastating. If I'm really hard in the diet or close to a show, I'll just use water. And I also sometimes use liquid egg whites. Obviously it's added protein, but when you use liquid egg whites, it's a little bit thicker. The consistency becomes thick. So when making this protein ice cream, I do not want to water it down. It's going to become like a slush. I want it as thick as possible, so I put as little amount of liquid as possible. And sometimes when I come to blend it, it doesn't even blend, so I need to add a little bit more. But I'd rather use too little at first and then have to add than use too much and just ruin the whole thing. So we start with a little bit of ice. I like to layer it, and then I'll throw in some protein, a little bit more ice, and top it off with some more protein. From here, we can also use some PB2, which is my favorite. If you're not familiar with PB2, there's other companies out there too. It's powdered peanuts with the oil extracted. So it's basically, instead of 16 grams of fat for 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, this has 1.5 grams of fat. So huge difference. And this is a game changer for you guys that are peanut butter fanatics. Anyone that knows, you can't eat much peanut butter in a diet. If you have a jar of peanut butter in your house and you love peanut butter, 1 or 2 tablespoons is not gonna cut it. You're gonna end up eating a quarter of a jar, and that's devastating when dieting because it's very calorie dense. Peanut butter, avocado, nuts, they're calorically dense because fats have 9 calories per gram, whereas protein and carbohydrates only have 4. So you really gotta be careful with the fats. I also like to add this in at the end, just dry on top of the ice cream, kind of gives it some texture. So I'm gonna use a mixture of liquid egg whites and a little bit of almond milk. And again, I rather use very little and have to add more than to overdo it. I don't think that'll even blend, so I'll put a little bit more. You know, it's good after the first time you make it, you just measure things out. I never do that, too lazy. You could use a Magic Bullet NutriChef type of blender. I bought this from Walmart. Farberware, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but it's super cheap. I mean, some of those blenders, this style of blender, the upside down ones, they go for $150 to $200. I think I paid like $30 for this. So there you have it. That blended actually pretty good. I put just the right amount of liquid. Usually I end up having to add more. And that's the consistency you want. You don't want to put too much liquid because then it'll be like a Slurpee. Like this will not come out. You see, that's a good consistency. That's as close as you can to frozen yogurt. And taste test. You see, from here, what I like to do, I like to add in some dry PB2 and even maybe a little bit more of the protein powder. And if you do end up messing it up and you added too much liquid, you can add more protein powder to absorb a little bit of the water. But when I do this, it just gives it a better consistency for me. And it's more enjoyable. It almost feels like I'm having like soft serve ice cream with maybe some toppings. It's seriously incredible. To me, it's just as good as having frozen yogurt. I don't want to waste this. It's just as good as having frozen yogurt. And if you guys are dieting, I mean, I give this to my friends that don't diet, that aren't bodybuilders, and like, holy shit, this is amazing. So if a regular person that is not dieting says it's good, it's good. But if you guys are dieting, you'll thank me for this. I don't recommend you having it every single day. I don't recommend going overboard with the PB2, and I don't recommend using almond milk if you're close to a show. But if you really have a sweet tooth and you're starving and you're like, you know what, I don't want to eat my whitefish or my chicken tonight, you can have this. It's like having a protein shake. Just don't go crazy. Don't eat it all the time because then you'll get used to it. But you guys try it. I hope you like it. Let me know. Comment below. Let me know how it goes. You can thank me later. I know this is going to be a big, big game changer for you guys that are in diets and have sweet tooth and feel like you can't have anything. And shaking this protein up in water and ice and drinking it is not as enjoyable as this. So give it a try. Let me know how it turns out. Comment below. If anybody does it and uses another ingredient or another technique that they think is really good, share for everybody to see below.